Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas, and the heat's not outside. The heat is actually inside here. I'm being joined with Shawn Porter. The gym's about 105 degrees. I feel like
Not talking about me.
no. I feel like I've been in the sauna, man.
have.
This is a normal thing for you, right? This is how you normally train.
Yeah, this is how I normally train. And I know you've been here before, like on media days and stuff like
But it
that.
hasn't been this hot
It hasn't
ever.
been this hot.
No.
The flip side of that, obviously, a lot of my fights are taking place like the end of winter or in the beginning of winter. So I think that's kind of, we're in a dead summer right now, and it's extremely hot. Everybody's in here with their hot breath. And but like my dad always says, you go through the fire, and it's what makes the fight easier.
Have you gotten used to training in the heat? Because I know from Ohio, yeah?
Yeah, I hate it. And Ohio gets hot, but it's just different here. It's hot. Sometimes it to me is ridiculous, but it's what I have to do. So I perform under it, and that just lets me know on fight night it's not that hot, and whatever I need to do, I got to fight through it in here. I got to fight through that fatigue and that heat to be able to, manage my mind and think and process and do everything I need to do. Fight night is that much easier because it's not this hot, so amongst other things.
I know you're in a different phase of your life right now. You just had a beautiful little baby boy. You have this fight coming up against Garcia for the title. Where are you, like right now, like mentally? Like, how would you describe that place?
I would say, for the lack of words, I'm happy, and for me, that works. It works for me to be able to get up and, say peace out and go do my thing, and stay away as long as I need to stay away, and then hug them goodnight and carry on. So for me, the transition into being a family man and still managing my profession. And training and things of that nature to me has not been as difficult, hard as it's been described to me before by other fighters, other coaches, other managers. So I do enjoy it. I enjoy that right now. He's right over there, and even though he doesn't understand what I'm doing, he's just there. That to me is fun, and I love it.
Has it given you a different push or a different perspective on your career and what you want to achieve?
Maybe it'll play its role in the fight, but not right now. I think, the goals that I have are things that I've committed myself to. At this point, I'm 30, 31 fights. It shouldn't take, me having a son to figure out what I need to commit to and how serious I need to be about it. So, if anything, I just make sure I go in there, I stay safe, I win this fight, and we go home and we have fun.
To you, looking at Danny as an opponent and you having faced Thurman, Broner, a lot of opponents that have had big names, where does he rank amongst them? And do you see his style as the most challenging, or do you think it's not the most challenging?
I think he may be just beneath Keith Thurman. I think that he can present problems just like Keith. I think Keith is or was a little bit more versatile and a little bit more unpredictable, which made him, a tremendous fighter, on any given night. I think he's above Adrian Broner. He does not come to the ring, and he does not come to the ring not ready to perform, not ready to take on that big night. And he might be right there with Brooke. Those guys may be even tied. Brooke was very technical. Brooke had a great game plan, and Brooke stuck to that game plan no matter what I did to him. And obviously, in order for Danny to win this fight, they have to have an excellent game plan, and they got to come in and implement it. Now, what I've been told out in New York, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told verbatim, Danny says he does not train for a specific fighter. He just trains to fight. And I say to that, you got a problem. If you didn't train for my speed or the different defensive moves that I make, the different offensive moves that I make, then you're going to get in the ring and already be 2 steps behind me.
When you look at his style, he's a guy that counterpunches well, though at times I feel it's kind of worked against him in the volume department where, he'll land a few good shots, but it tends to be that he can't get outworked. When you look at this fight and your major advantage, would it be your work rate and your physicality, or is there something else, something more?
I think my biggest attribute coming into the ring on September 8th is my work rate and the tenacity that I bring to the ring. I think that the energy that I bring is really hard to keep up with. I think it's going to force him to come to the ring ready for that kind of fight, and he should be. And I think that that's going to definitely be one of the biggest components in this fight.
To you, what would it mean to be Danny?
What does it mean to be Danny? Danny's only got one loss to another world champion. He's been undefeated since he turned pro. He's been a former world champion, WBC nonetheless. He's been at the top of every weight class he's fought at. To me, I beat Danny Garcia. I am the champion at 147 pounds.
It would be the signature win to put on your resume at this point of your career as well. Looking at the future, you mentioned Spence, Thurman's still out there. Where do you want to go? Is Thurman still something like a spine? And you
I like the way you did that right there
you
because
never know where you go.
well, if you connect the dots, if you connect the dots, you have Kell Brook. Even though it's a lost fight, it was.
And he's at 54.
Well, no. Well, my point is, it was a great fight, and he was at the top of the division. So right there, then you went up to Keith Thurman. Then you had a little setback with that fight, but you're right there with Adrian Brown, and now you're going back up. Andre Berto, and then now Danny Garcia. So when you could connect the dots for my career so far, there's always been a great fight that led to another great fight, and that's what I'm looking for in this one. I'm looking for this to be, yes, a legacy fight, for this to be the biggest win of my career so far, and I'm looking, to win that WBC championship and finally be, in that family with the WBC champions, former and future.
You guys all fighting each other, it's shown a lot about your guys' character, but also, and you mentioned in the scrum, at one point you were seen as the boogeyman, like, oh man, we don't want to fight against Shawn. At one point, Thurman was seeing that as well, up until we saw the body shots against Collazo in the fight with you. Now, it's Errol. Everyone's looking at him like, man, how do you beat this guy? Do you see anything that sticks out to you that's a weakness with Errol?
Well, first and foremost, that's life. Everybody's looking for the next best thing, and in boxing, it's all about what you just did, not what you've done. And so when you're looking for that next champion, and Shawn is the guy on everybody, Shawn's the hardest guy to beat in the division. Then you got Keith, who was knocking everybody out, coined himself one time. And, it really became a part of his persona. Everybody say he's the hardest hitter in the division. Nobody wants to fight him. And now, because Errol Spence is on such a mean streak right now, and he looks unstoppable, he has completely washed up everybody he's fought. He's the biggest, baddest guy. But in actuality, the same way I was the guy that everybody thought couldn't be beat, I've been beat. The same way you thought Keith Thurman was the hardest hitter and couldn't be beat, he's been out almost 2 years now with the injury. It's the same way you can beat Errol Spence. And I think with Errol Spence, it takes a combination of things, a combination of mixing it up, hurting him, and letting him know that you're in the fight. I don't think that's something that anybody's been able to do. They haven't been able to match his power, his ferociousness, and look him in the eyes and him know, I ain't going nowhere.
And that's something you think you'd be able to
do? That's what I do.
So that's a fight you do, in fact, want.
For sure.
All right, Shawn, I know wrapping it up, and it's still hot as hell in here in the gym. Man, I can't wait for this fight. I think it's really going to be a great fight to watch. It happens on September 8th at the Barclays Center in New York. This man right here, Showtime Shawn Porter, facing Danny Garcia for the 147-pound WBC welterweight title.